Hey everyone, this is going to be part 2 of my TFL video series that I said I was going to do and conclude, either today or tomorrow. This is hopefully going to be a more a more serious look into the TFL movement. And, I've thought about what I want to say, and I'm probably going to jump around a lot, during the video, so apologies for that, but I'll try and get some good points across. So these guys, they seem to suffer from a massive inferiority complex. Now, I'll tell you why I think that. By thinking that women are more important than men, and that society is brainwashing women to think that they are more important than men, then that automatically makes you lower than them. That ultimately makes men lower, but in their world. So that means if you ever go on a date, if one of these guys ever goes on a date, then you're automatically angry and biased against women because because of this irrational thought that you have, and these things are going to come up in the way that you talk and in your body language, and it doesn't even have to be very even if it's a very subtle thing. Women and men can pick up on these things, and you're going to come over as very hostile, and that is not a good quality that you want to have on a date. And I'm going to say on first dates it is a lot about appearances. I'm not going to lie, it is for a lot of people, not for everyone, but for a lot of people it is about appearances. And there's nothing wrong with trying to spruce yourself up by cutting your hair, wearing some nice clothes or something, to try and make yourself look more attractive to the opposite sex or whatever, or the same sex, or whoever you're trying to attract. You want to try and put your best self forward, and then when they like you, and hopefully they want to see more of you, then they are more inclined to not mind things like the bad habits that you have, or when you want to just slub around on the couch eating Cheetos or something. Not like I've ever done that, but I'm just putting it out there as an example, because they can see past that and see the person that you really are. People know that no one is perfect, and because their feelings are already established, your bad habits do not put them off. But it would if you arrived on the first date with messy hair and dirty clothes or something, because then you're just some guy. They haven't invested any sort of emotional time and effort into liking you, if that makes sense. But these guys are just batshit crazy. I mean, if they do crazy right. If you're going to believe in one conspiracy, might as well believe in a whole bunch. So they believe that the public schooling is teaching kids about eugenics and that minorities are no good to this planet, and they also believe that global warming is a fraud. And of course, the most important one for the true force loneliness people is the New World Order. But there is also something that I wanted to bring up, and it's something that a couple of the members of this movement have brought up themselves, and it's the quote or the saying that women are creating their own killers. And this disgusts me. I mean, not just as a man, but just as a decent human being. It's kind of like she was asking for an argument when you're thinking about rape. They're basically saying if a woman acts like a complete cunt, or if she wrongs a man in some way, then it's perfectly within their right to rape or kill her. It's not only disgusting against women, but men too, because by that logic, men are these sort of monosyllabic, weak-willed monsters that if any kind of wrongdoing happens to us, then we're completely fine with killing whoever it was. We've evolved out of that. Maybe they used to do that in the Wild West, but not anymore. I mean, maybe some fucked up people, but not as a general rule. I mean, for fuck's sake. How bad do they think of us? And how bad do they think of each other? Because they're men. And they seem completely okay with this, And you never hear them speaking out against the men in these cases. No, it's always the woman's fault. It's fucking sickening. Even if a woman was acting like a complete cunt, that gives you no goddamn right for you to end her life. Anybody who supports that kind of thinking needs to have their fucking head examined. And I have to think that TFLers do think this, because they sure as hell don't condemn it. And, their argument when it comes to things like this is shit, because if you can take their argument and sort of use it for both sides, then it's complete bollocks. So if a man kills a woman, it's because, she deserves it for whatever misdeed she may or not have committed against a man, or because society tells women that it's okay to lie and treat men like shit. But if a woman kills a man, then it's because of the NWO and population control or something, and and she'll get off the charge because all the rights are with the women and not with the men. You know, right? That's why women are still not paid as much money on average than men. You know, that's why so many rights they have. And these guys are just so paranoid, and I know about this because I used to be a lot more paranoid than I am now. You know, if if a woman looked at me, I may have thought, you know, why is she looking at me like that? You know, I would put my own bias onto what, onto her. You know, why is she looking at me like that? You know, does she hate me? She doesn't even know me. You know, why would she hate me just by looking at the way I look? And this is the way I used to think. You know, I've got it a lot under control now, but sometimes I can still be paranoid. You know, I just have to try and regulate it. I can't really say what changed, but something did. And it seems that these guys have just yet to get to that stage. You know, sometimes I'm going to say, you know, sometimes just putting on sunblock is just that. You know, you are reading far too much into tiny little situations. Can you not see how stupid it is to base an entire belief system based on your limited experience with the opposite sex? You know, and these guys are severely lacking in confidence, and I know because I can see the signs. I'm not exactly full of confidence myself. You know, and when you lack confidence, you're liable to think with your feelings, you know, rather than your head, if that makes sense. You know, you're prone to being irrational, and that pretty much sums up the entire True Force Loneliness movement, in my opinion. So if I could give you some advice, guys, it would be this: try to be more rational. You know, if a woman rejects you, or if you're on a second date and she doesn't want to go for a third or something, you know, is it more rational to think that she just wasn't attracted to you, or that she is part of a global government conspiracy determined to try and make you stay single for the rest of your life? You know, of course, it's the first answer. You know, and trying to look at every situation with women the same way. You know, is it more rational for A to be true or for B to be true? I mean, hopefully that should help. And, you know, stop being so paranoid. You know, it speaks of a certain egotism that you think everyone is out there to stop you from getting a partner. You know, and I know that kind of seems diametrically opposed to the statement I made earlier that these guys have an inferiority complex, but these two do work together. Yeah, and I know this because when you become very bitter towards the world and you think everyone is out against you, then you become very inwardly focused. You become your whole world, basically, and you think that, you know, everyone is out to get you and that everyone is targeting you. You know, and you know, following on from that, stop playing the victim. I know it's a hard thing to get out of, because I still do it myself. I'm guilty of it. You know, I'll hold my hands up and say it. And, you know, it's for the same reason that, you know, even now, when I'm low, I sometimes get a sort of a perverse comfort out of it, because it's something that something that's been with me for so long that it actually feels kind of comfortable. You know, it's a very hard thing to try and explain. You know, you're not special. You're no better or no worse than the other nearly 7 billion people on this planet. You're gonna have to try and work through the problems that you have, just like everyone else, or else you're just gonna wallow in self-pity, and no one will want to be with you. And, you know, that's how you're gonna be. If you have this sort of woe is me attitude, then people can sense that, and it's not a very attractive quality, you know, for either men or women. So please, guys, try and follow these points, because right now you're just acting like a bunch of whiny kids who are wailing constantly about how the whole world is against them and how other people are keeping them down. So please, take responsibility for your own actions and grow the fuck up. Honestly. You know, you're no better than, no worse than anyone else. There are plenty of, you know, respectable, intelligent, smart, funny, good-looking women out there. And, you know, even if it takes a long time, you know, hopefully you will find someone who will love you for you, because they are out there. And if I can find someone, then sure as hell anybody can. So, you know, that's all I have to say. Hope everyone's doing okay. Hope this video wasn't too boring for everyone. And cheerio.